What's up, everybody? I'm back again today. I am live, and I'm going to hopefully do a lot more editing to the roster today. I have some stuff I want to do there, and I thought I'd come on the stream again and hang out with everybody, talk a little football, talk about the series, and just hang out. I enjoy really chill streams. Definitely a lot of fun. So, as chat fills up, thanks for coming. Glad you're here. People are starting to show up now to the live version here. I wanted to check something from the awards. I want to make sure all these players who got some of the key awards got some good boosts and everything. So, Brian Goodson here. I wanted to see where he was at. What I'm doing here is I'm just trying to make up for the fact that for much of the series we had low XP sliders and players really didn't get fair development. And you have like teams here, like on Philly. A lot of really good players on this team, but none have reached the 90s. And that's just not how it's supposed to be. So welcome everybody. People are starting to comment now. I think everything's working properly. Doing pretty well, all pro. How you doing? What's going on, Caleb? Blue B. Make Boogie a 99. I'm not editing any of our players. That just kind of seems unfair. I'm really trying to just go to these CPU players that should be higher rated, but they kind of got screwed here with the progression and everything. You got Shea Holloway, 7th round or 7th overall pick. Doesn't have a ton of career interceptions. I don't know, 88 kind of seems fair. I'm trying to look at stats and make the upgrades make sense and not just upgrade for the sake of it. So if we were to look at just like every position, because part of it too is I want to make sure like there are some high rated players at each position. And some are really out of control right now. Why am I not playing Madden 21? I am on my second channel doing a fun series with the Texans. If you haven't checked it out, MrHurriicane LP, my Texans rebuild franchise might be interesting for you, and there's a lot of videos in it already, and episode 22 goes up today. Just got the notification and loved the stream yesterday. Good to hear. This is going to be a carbon copy, so should be right what you're looking for. School tomorrow and it's 1 a.m. here, but this is more important. I'm not sure this stream is as important. Maybe if it were an off season. What's going on, Rashad? How you doing? Good to see you here, as always. You always pop into the streams. James is here for the very first time. Welcome. How come I just got the notification? I've only been live for like 3 minutes, so all good if you got the notification and you're here. Can I do a favor and just pull up Deshaun Watson on the Broncos roster? Sure thing. Watson here is a 90. Morale makes him a 91. Day's going pretty well, Travis. Number 3 quarterback here in our league. Rashid. Kano Mack. I love that. Haven't seen him put up the huge touchdowns here in a little bit. These are lower than I thought they would be. Interesting. Here's what the rush yards have done over time. These seem pretty good for Watson. He's not a guy who gets like a lot of 100-yard rushing games. Let me see what his typical rushing stats are by season. Yeah, about 400, 500. So I'd say Deshaun's rushing sim stats are pretty spot on, honestly. The attempts are there, the yardage is there, and the touchdowns are as well. He just had 8 rushing touchdowns. I won't be doing a Madden 21 franchise on this channel, no. No, I'm going to stick with this one. I love this series. It's one of my favorite series I've ever done. And I'm just trying to make it, I just want it to continue to be fun to watch. And I think this is kind of a necessary thing to do this upgrading and to let the CPU teams get this boost from success that they've shown that just hasn't been reflected in their ratings because of the low XP sliders. So the draft in the offseason, I'm counting on being Saturday. And we'll do a draft show before that, maybe Thursday, maybe give myself more than a day to prep. And then until then, I'll be doing content on the second channel. And I'm considering maybe coming on stream here and we can maybe record some Let's Play content live. You want to see Andy Isabella's? Yeah, he's a little higher rated than I would have expected. Superstar Dev. He has a couple 1,000-yard seasons, some multi double-digit touchdown seasons as well. And a lot of this success happened a little bit later in his career. First 1,000-yard campaign came in year 4. What I'm hoping for this offseason is that the Vikings make some moves to really solidify the offensive line, especially the interior. And then I'm hoping they can add a 3-tech pass rusher, be it a free agent or somebody in the draft. And hopefully they can make moves happen without having to sacrifice too much in terms of cuts. I can handle if they release, you know, Barr, Rudolph. There aren't a lot of other players that I'm like, you know, excited for them to maybe open salary with. I mean, I wouldn't want to see Harrison Smith go. I wouldn't want to see anything happen with like Danielle Hunter. Eric Kendricks, I would not want to see him go, like, ever. Come to Phoenix, Kane, we don't have snow. I don't have snow. Snow's gone. It's 70 degrees outside. It's beautiful out. And I've been enjoying it for much of the day. I'm almost at 10K steps. I'm gonna get there and beyond. It's 74 right now. It just keeps climbing. Let's go. That's what I like to see. Are the Twins going to be AL Central champs? I sure hope so, but the White Sox have just done so much in the last couple of years, and their offense was just top to bottom stacked last season. So they're going to be tough. Tigers, Royals. I don't know what's going on with Cleveland. I don't really think those teams are going to be on their level, though. I think it's a 2-team race. Oh, you're good, Connor. You don't got to worry about making the stream, missing the stream for any reason. I'm glad you got to enjoy your grandma's birthday. That's more important. Snow here in Mississippi is almost all gone. Back roads still icy. Yeah, especially in an area where you don't have like salt out and plow trucks, like back roads. Bad news. Some of the main roads are bad news. Oh, we're not doing the off season yet, IMK. That's going to be next weekend. This is getting us ready for the off season so that hopefully free agency ends up being more interesting, and then the CPU teams are better set up to compete. Not just against me, but against one another. Like, the Bears made it to the Super Bowl, and I think that's a product partially of just lack of star power in the league that allows a 7-9 team to go all the way through a conference, at least. Like, if you look at the league, there are only a handful of players that are even above like 93. And at certain positions, I mean, we only have a handful of quarterbacks in the 90s, and I edited Leighton to become a 90. At running back, I mean, it's all the veterans that were here at the beginning of the series pretty much. Receiver has a pretty steep drop-off. I edited Augustine yesterday, And then we get into the mid-80s pretty quick. I mean, Chad Robinson here at 85. He's already the 22nd highest rated receiver. Tight end, pretty bad drop off there. Offensive line, we got to do something about this, because this is just kind of rough. And that's part of, not getting development upgrades and very few having good developments to begin with. Linebacker is really bad. Corner, only 3 in the 90s. I'm going to try to find some that I think deserve to be higher rated there. But at the very least now, XP sliders will help everything catch up. I'm just trying to kind of give the league a little stimulus here in terms of their ratings. Who do I realistically want the Vikes to take? I think I'd be pretty happy with somebody like Christian Barmore or... I don't really have a lot of names that I'm thinking about right now, but I think, a 3-tech pass rusher is going to be one of their top targets. I think that they'll probably look to address defense with their first round pick. And that to me is just kind of the easiest solution right there. That's pretty realistic for them. Can't find my second channel. It's youtube.com/MrHurricaneLP. Let me link it here if you're having trouble with it. There. Oh, they're going to get Pierce, but he's not going to be the pass rusher. He replaced Linval. He's the run stopper, the nose tackle. So, I mean, they need someone to penetrate there. They've missed it so much. No one's getting pushed inside. Even when we get edge pressure, I mean, quarterbacks are just stepping up comfortably, and they can beat a young secondary at the same time. I don't know much about Kwity Paye, but I've seen his name all over the place the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to have to get familiar. I have no clue what's going to happen in Madden 22. I mean, I always come into the year hoping that there are some big things coming, but haven't seen those big things very often, so I don't know. That's why I just try to make myself not too dependent on, like, the quality of the state of Madden. Like, that's why I got so big into playing MLB The Show. That's why I played a 14-year dynasty years after NCAA came out. That's why I play old games. I don't want to be too reliant on a game if it bombs. Like, remember when Madden 19 didn't work out for me? Because I was doing Kalispell, because I was doing the show, I could stop playing a game I wasn't enjoying. And I did. So I want to go to Philly quick. But for Madden 22, I mean, I'd love to start a new franchise and see what it builds upon, because there are things I like on Next Gen 21 that I'm playing with on the Texans series. But a lot can change, and a lot of it's like design decisions. I mean, they could do things to make the game less realistic and things that I just don't enjoy, so you never know. Alright, Goodson already has Superstar, but he's at 84. So let's see here. Whoa, 19.5. So here's a spot where I'm saying maybe his rating should go up. I had no idea he had 19 and a half sacks this year. 84 overall for Brian Goodson. That just ain't good enough. I think we finally found a player that deserves the really big boost here. Now, granted, he would have gotten a lot of XP from this season, but I'm still going to make the correction. That's pretty good. Now, let's boost those intangibles considerably. Make him a little more well-rounded. I want to get him, I think, to like 89. All right, that's pretty good there. Is he on his rookie deal too? Nice. So I don't have to worry about this. Everything will take care of itself next year. Change his number? 76. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's almost as bad as Vic Beasley having 44. Oh, a lot of their numbers are taken up. That's why nothing in the 90s is available. So I think we're going 50s then. I don't know, I always associate like even numbers with like middle linebackers and odd numbers with pass rushers. It's certainly never the, like, not 100% the case, but I always just think of like 52. If you were 52, you should play inside linebacker, not outside, or edge rusher. I wish like 55 or 57 was available. We're going 58. Yeah, Von Miller was 58. Bradley Chubb was 55 on the other side. Mac is 52. Yes, that's true. That's true. I'm not saying it's scientific. I'm not even saying it's accurate. It's just a feel. All right, so Goodson becomes the top player here on Philadelphia's squad. And then I think offensive linemen, you know, guys like Gabe Davis. I don't know how long he's had this dev. It would have had to been forever, right? So an X-Factor lineman. Kind of stuck here at 88. Had a Pro Bowl. Hey, Justin, thank you for becoming a new member on the channel. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yep, O-line doesn't gain or lose dev, and that's why we're going to be editing them quite a bit. Like, okay, let me, what is he rated as far as, like, overall left tackle? Let me pick a different song. Alright, so being an 88 here, that's number 3. Yeah, we are going to boost that significantly. I'm mostly doing like the intangible upgrades because it messes with their skill set a lot less. I'm not doing like speed, none of the physical ratings. It's just all skills that I'm editing and intangibles. Let's impact block to 85. Now he's a 91. That's cool. He had a lot of sacks allowed, so we won't go any further. Maybe we'll find somebody else who should get a larger boost. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely what they did or didn't do as far as O-line and development goes is a major oversight. Like, the more I do these franchises, the more I realize like so much more thought has to be put into how to have a long-term franchise. And I'm guessing a lot of people, you know, only play for a couple years, so it doesn't really matter as much. But when you get deep, you start to uncover all these issues. And I play only deep franchises, really. So I found a lot of them, and I've learned a lot doing these. But unfortunately, it takes doing it to learn, so I already see the mistakes by the time they're done. I was cool though with Shay at 88. Didn't think he needed the boost there. John Cologne at 84. And that has him as the number 18 middle linebacker. Really? This must be a really clustered tier of players. Doesn't get a lot of deflections. Allows, I'm not sure if that's like too many catches or whatever. I'll give a very slight boost to him, but I need to edit Gabe Davis' contract. I forgot to do that, the contract editing as well. Music's a little loud. Is music loud, everybody? Dropped it a little bit there. So we're just going to add a few million here to this contract. And as I talked about yesterday, the whole goal is that there are more high-rated players that get big contracts that force teams to actually make decisions when it comes to their salary cap. Maybe it's, you know, not being able to keep a couple star players and then they hit free agency and then they have to draft rookies. It's all about keeping the cycle continuing, and lower-rated players, you just end up with teams that stay the same for years. That's an issue. You have like the best free agents on the open market being like 86 overall, 82, and then like just a bunch of like high 70s, and it's just not how it's supposed to be. What would it be an X factor ability for an offensive lineman? I'm not sure what the abilities end up being. I've never really taken a look at them. I just know that they got patched in later to at least exist. And then Goodson's still on his rookie deal. So now when he negotiates his new contract next year, it'll be at a higher overall and the contract will be larger. Let's do that small upgrade now for John Cologne. Oh, no X factor for linemen, only superstar abilities? Yeah, that makes sense. Offensive lineman getting in the zone. What would you do, like 15 straight snaps not allowing a sack or something like that? I don't know, that'd be a weird way to set up a zone ability. There's also one change I want to make. I love what Blackjack does, but there's one player I wish he had edited just a little bit differently in the last class. I'm going to add speed for Elliott Red. He's got to be able to fly. We all know Elliott Red was known for his major speed at Kalispell. We're going to give it to him. I still play Madden 20 because I really enjoy this specific franchise. And I have a slider set that I really, really like. And I'm very attached. Where'd Red go, by the way? Do y'all remember? Was it Green Bay? Why does that sound right? Just trust your memory. Oh, Blackjack gave him normal dev too. Okay. I'm not going to edit any devs, but I'm giving him 97 speed still and acceleration boosted. Whatever happens, happens from here. I think I just made him their starter. Good. Oh, Chris Baker and Elliott Red. I love that. Seattle has a bunch of the Kalispell players as well. They have, obviously, Matt Reddick. They have Jim Jackson. They have Drake Maddox. What's Drake done in his career? Hey, Mike, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $1 super chat. .65 free safety. Yes. There's some big safeties in the league. What's Rayshawn Jenkins? He's one of the biggest safeties I can think of. I thought he was taller. They have him listed here 6'1". I thought he was 6'3". 220 pounds. Who's the tallest safety right now in the league? Spit me a couple names. Reddick's overall at tight end was horrible, Jack. George Iloka, yeah, he was really big. for sure. Who else besides George Iloka? Jamal Adams? Why do I think Adams is 6'1"? Because he is. I'm thinking, like, is there a 6'4" safety that comes to mind right now? Isaiah Simmons, Obi Melifonwu. Cam Chancellor, obviously he was big. Jaron Curse, yeah, he is pretty big. He's 6'4". He can play nickel, he can play linebacker. I like Jaron Curse. I think he ended up getting released last year, though, by the Lions. Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu, okay. Can you imagine the plays he'd make if he were 6'4"? Ronnie Harrison, 6'3"? Jeremy Chin. I like Jeremy Chin a lot. Super versatile. I think he's going to be a player the Panthers can really build around. And I honestly think that, not saying he's going to be on this level, but I think Jeremy Chin is going to kind of be their Harrison Smith, where he can just do just about anything. I think that he has a little more flexibility because you could play him over the slot too, whereas Harrison Smith, you know, isn't great in that role, but Smith blitzes a lot. He can play in the box, he can play deep. I think Chin can have that kind of versatile impact. How big of a screen do you play on? So the monitor I have now, I think, is 28. I upgraded a couple months ago. I got a Samsung UR55 is mine. It's a 28-inch 4K 60. I went with that instead of a 1440 120 hertz because I'm a graphics snob and I like playing single player games at 4K, and that I don't play competitive, so I don't care about having high frame rate. I played on a crappy clearance TV for almost 8 years, so anything would have been an upgrade. Can I show you XP sliders? Yeah, just let me check out Drake quick, please. So 2 years in. Yeah, not going to be making any changes off of that production. It's not enough. I will do a mock draft. Yes, I love doing that every year. It's fun. And these XP sliders, you know, they're fluid. They'll be changing and whatnot. But I loved what the rookies developed with on this set. Now, I have made a couple changes to the offensive line already. So, at 154, Marquise Cortez with Superstar Dev went from 71 to 82 with like a Pro Bowl season, Rookie of the Year, 150 tackles, couple picks. So this number is one of the lower values, but it can absolutely put out a huge boost for a player. What did you think of Cam Dantzler? I didn't like things in the beginning. I mean, the DK Metcalf, not the touchdown. That was Anthony Harrison coverage, I'm pretty sure. That might have been a busted play too. But Dantzler gave up the deep ball in that game. Tough game against Julio, gave a couple touchdowns to him. But last 8 games, like after the bye, Dantzler rated really highly by PFF, didn't allow a lot of catches, made a lot of plays. I like Dantzler a lot. Where do I rank these three? Terry, DK, and AJ. Ooh. All right, rank these three. Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown. I'd probably go Metcalf number 1. It's a little tough to split the difference between him and AJ Brown, but I think I'll give it to Metcalf. Brown does drop some passes. DK, super explosive. AJ Brown is as well. I'm going to give the edge to DK and then probably AJ Brown, then McLaurin. But they're all studs. Oh, a lot of comments coming in having Terry #1. I think it's always like, you know, when you have a big receiver that does a bit more, it's like easier to rank them higher, even if they have a couple of weaknesses. I don't know. They're all real good. You know, I'm really curious about what the Pats do. I'm not really sure. I think a lot of it hinges on how much they like Stidham, because they haven't drafted young quarterbacks many times recently. I mean, there was Jimmy Garoppolo, and then they drafted that guy from LSU in the 7th round and tried to move him to like 3 positions or something. And then Stidham. And I still kind of think they should probably go young, draft somebody, develop. But you have to have a bridge quarterback ready if you're drafting like the 4th or 5th quarterback in the draft. So they're not going to get the top 3 guys if they're not trading up. So who becomes the veteran then? Do you play Stidham, see what happens, have somebody like Trey Lance behind him? Or do you try to bring back Jimmy Garoppolo or something like that? Yeah, Danny Etling. They did draft Brissett. Yes, they did. I'm a Jacoby Brissett guy. I think Gardner Minshew's kind of in that tier of quarterbacks where it's like you can do better if you pick high in the draft, but if not, then might be iffy. Probably never going to give you a high ceiling of play. I can't see him really putting together more than like a 22, 23 touchdown season. You might be able to get to the wild card with him on the right team. He'll probably be a solid backup for a long time. I don't know who my quarterback 2 is. I know a lot of people right now seem to really be jumping on the Zach Wilson hype train. I haven't seen him play very much. I've watched Fields play a lot more, and I know that I'm impressed with him. Also impressed with Trey Sermon and the way he played in that Northwestern game and down the stretch this year. Didn't he declare too? Just another Ohio State running back coming to the league. Nothing new here. It was kind of nice going team by team there. Let's go back to Philly. Is there anything else I want to do here? And the main thing I'm looking at here is players in their mid to late 20s that kind of got screwed. So like guys who have played at least a couple of years are where I'm going to be focusing most of this upgrading. That's a lot of touchdowns for such little volume. I wonder if I should look at stats too. I wish I could see their stats and their overall on the same menu. And I am trying to make most of these upgrades based on stats and awards. So like here when we saw Brian Goodson with a 19.5, that you know, you gotta do something there, I think. Joe Thomas seemed like he was always in the zone. Madden 08 has mauler ability for good run blockers. Would have to incorporate pancakes for run. No pressures allowed for pass game for a quarter or half to get into the zone. That's a good call. I'm not sure what they're actually doing for the abilities, because I just kind of ignore those. Like, I turn them off in this series, obviously. I still feel the stars play like stars and separate themselves. Don't need the icon to show you or no abilities. I think part of it is like having a system in game for tracking how they're playing. It's not so simple as like a receiver catching passes. Like the pancake stat, the sacks allowed stat, those aren't even the most accurate determinations. And I don't think the game is advanced enough to grade it based on their own play. It'd be more like a lot of the... Remember some of the old series I've done where the offensive line would get major upgrades because the running game ran for 2,200 yards or something? That's how they do a lot of it. One forced fumble the whole year. I can't imagine that. No way. (19-13), that's it? That's all? Like, this offense is just so underwhelming. That's a whole year's worth of stats right there. That's kind of gross. I don't know yet what I think about Kyle Trask. I know what I think about Kyle Pitts. I want to know how high he goes. Like, whenever there's a position where there's like an obvious stud and it's like, all right, this position is not one of the most important, but this guy's a difference maker, so when does he go? And lately those guys are just going super high. Like Jamal Adams, I think, was a 4th overall pick. Brandon Scherf was super early. Safety, guard, don't typically go that early. Tight end, definitely not. It's even a surprise when they go 10. I don't know if I'll do a college football revamp series. I think I'll have to think about it closer to the summertime when I think I'll be coming around to ending some stuff and looking for new series. Possibly. If I could put Marquise Walker on a team for Madden 21, where would that be and what would be his abilities? Marquise Walker in Madden 21. If I had to put him on a team, I think it'd be fun to put him on the Steelers to move on from Roethlisberger and then compete against Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow. That's if you want to start with a pretty solid team. If you want to start with a pretty bad team or a more average team, what about like Denver and all those playmakers they have there that I obviously got rid of in my series? And if I had to pick abilities for Marquise Walker, I would give him Escape Artist probably, because it's hard to scramble without it. I don't know all the abilities off the top of my head, but like the way they handle Escape Artist, well, I haven't done a lot of user scrambling in 21. Maybe it's not so slow like in 20. If I check out the database here, and there are new abilities too that they've reworked, so I don't know them all. Can't be intercepted by AI while throwing on the run. Like, why'd they make abilities like that? That is so video gamey. I know it's a video game, but that is so video gamey. Can't be intercepted by AI while throwing on the run. You can't make things impossible. It's silly. All right, let's go to the Chicago Bears now. I kind of like going by stats there. Let's do that again. So Locke, probably keep him where he's at. Put up some really good numbers though. Do we give a slight boost to Drew Lock? I mean, some of these years were really solid. Already getting paid $26 million. He was best quarterback one year. Yeah, he has played in some Super Bowls. Let's go with a very slight boost, even though it'll probably be canceled out by his regression. Not entirely. There you go, Drew Lock. How about that? We'll make his cap number just a little bit greater, like 28 million. I'll probably get it there. Yeah, they have a bunch of low-rated skill players. Mack and Argento are fine. What about Roquan Smith? 89 is pretty good. What if we go... So we know Mahomes is high rated. We know Leighton is. Mariota. So he is 85. Yeah, 85 seems kind of fair after all these seasons. Then the higher touchdown count here. Probably leave him where he's at. What about Oliver Raymond? He's 87 X Factor, and I think he's close to 30 now. This is kind of a down year. I might give a small boost to Raymond. How old is he? 28? There will be another Houston Texans episode up today, by the way. Alright, just a small upgrade there for Raymond. And we'll boost this a little bit. If I do something for NCAA football revamp, I think I'd be doing like a carousel type of deal and trying that out, because that's just something different that I haven't tried. How about Tony McAdams? I mean, he put together some really good years. He's constantly around 30 touchdowns. He's been over twice in his career. He was Rookie of the Year, best quarterback, two-time Pro Bowler, and he's only 85 overall. So that's probably a little too low. And I think he's already gotten the big contract, so we'll just boost that a little bit. Just to match the fact that he's a higher rated player. How much money do I think the Giants are going to pay Saquon? I don't know, because when you're in that position without a quarterback making a lot of money, you can pay anybody you want pretty much, including a running back. So I think that it's going to more so come down to like if it's mutual for like him to want to stay and for them to want to sign him. Or if they think that, you know, maybe they should just see what they can get and make a deal. I think that's always a weird one. It's like, should this bad team sign their running back? Probably not. They were bad with him. Let's go Gaziri here. 4 years in, still stuck at normal dev. Is 80 fair for what he's put together. Decent. Good numbers. He was Rookie of the Year. What should we do for Gaziri? Do we give him star dev and then like nothing else? He was Rookie of the Year. What about no boost but star dev? What do we think about that? Give him a dev. There he goes. Now let's see what he can do with that. How about Sam Darnold? 85 X Factor, 30 years old. Yeah, this seems a little bit better than 85. Accuracy's good, yard per attempt is good, touchdowns are high, yardage over 4,000 a few times. I'm going to give Darnold a little bump. A Rookie of the Year should just give you, like, if you don't have at least star, it should get you to star. I think there need to be some rules, like, I don't think the rules should be the same for getting a player from normal to star, and then from, like, superstar to X Factor. Like, if you don't have at least star, Rookie of the Year or any of those awards should automatically bump you up to at least star development. And maybe you make the restrictions greater from going from star to superstar. There's a small upgrade here for Sammy Darnold. Jason Murray's at 77 right now. I think I want to give him a little boost from this 2025 season. Not a huge one. I think he's a little bit better than that. Let's just boost this a little bit. That one and that one. There. 79 is what I wanted it to end up at. He got no signing bonus on his deal. Tyson Walker's probably somebody who could stay where he's at. Low 80s. He has star dev. Do we think he deserves any more based on this? Lower yards per attempt than Darnold. Lower completion percentage. Not as flashy passing stats. And he's an 82. Hey, Mark. Thank you for becoming a new member to the channel. I appreciate that. Channel member live stream is going to be this weekend on Sunday after the off-season Saturday. Should be a good time. I think Walker's pretty good here at 82, though. How about Kenny Kessler? I mean, he came in, put up 42 and 8, 30 and 4. He dropped off this year. He was Rookie of the Year, and he has X Factor. I don't think Kessler here should be in the 80s. His awareness is already super high. Most of his ratings are already really good. I feel like I want to get him. You know what? 89 is okay. Because now he's a step below Leighton. Hey Kane, are you interested in ever doing a Green Bay Packers franchise in a future Madden when Rodgers retires? I think I would honestly consider a Packers series, and I've almost had one partially. I haven't used every team in a series before, but with Matt Pierre, I almost took him to the Packers because I just was so desperate to start winning games. But they no longer had Aaron Rodgers, so I decided not to have Matt Pierre go there. But it almost happened. How about Colbert here? 80 star. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe in the same range as Tyson Walker. I have done a Panthers franchise, Lucas. It was a lot of fun. Would I consider a 12-team coaching carousel and seeing where your former players who are coaches now, see how successful they can be? I don't know. That might be a little more complex than I'm thinking of. Because I would be wanting to probably jump around to different teams, and then it would kind of get disorganized and away from the starting point. And that's kind of the point of it all. What do I think about Derek Carr? You know, I haven't really thought he's all that great for a while, but this past year, I was actually really impressed with how he played and for much of the year. Granted, the Raiders weren't like a great team or anything, but I didn't feel like it was Carr holding them back. I thought it was more the defense. And I thought Carr had his best year in a long time. Maybe I'll play NBA 2K again sometime, but right now I'm more focused on just football and then maybe getting back to baseball. I want to edit this contract as well. The XP sliders are working really good now, Mark, but they weren't for so long, and that's why I'm doing the editing now to make up for that lost time. Not completely, but giving a boost to players who have performed well that deserve to be higher rated than they are right now. But I went through a variety of positions for players this past year that were rookies, and their development was really, really good. And I think that once we get some more years in this series, it's like, okay, now things have settled in and the game has the right flow with free agency and players being replaced and big contracts and new stars emerging. It's just going to take a little time. I am excited for the Twins this year. I mean, I still think that they are kind of designed in a flawed manner, where I just don't think the Twins are built to win playoff games. I think that their style of offense is really good in the regular season, and they can just out-homer a bunch of teams for a while, but when it comes to facing that star pitching and playing playoff baseball. They've proven the last 2 times they've made it that they probably just are a little too imbalanced. The last 6 games have been pathetic. It goes beyond that, but the last 6 games of recent play, and that's a small sample size, but it's enough for me from what I've seen watching those games to think that they are flawed. I think it's too focused on the home run. I think that they need to tweak the team a little bit if they're to have playoff success. Marquise Walker and Matt Pierre would be great in a franchise together. They would, Raymond. They would. They'd be a dynamic duo right there. What about the Texans? Still posting that today. You know it. It's going to be rendering here once I'm done with the stream today. So I just edited a lot of quarterbacks. Handful here in the 90s. Some players who are still going to get better. So Brandon Warren's here as the 12. I kind of like this whole setup here. I don't think I have to touch quarterback anymore. I like where it's at. Warwick, he's still got a lot of time to keep going. Warren, I just don't think he's played well enough. Unfortunately, I think he's been decent, but he hasn't been a game changer, so he's not getting a boost. Quarterback seems done. So how many are in the 80s now? 28. Sounds good to me. And then there'll be some regression. One more player, though. Pemberton. What are they going to do with him? Yeah, I know. The gap here is not ideal. I could just make that gap less drastic by editing like Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. Just like awareness. You know? Let's go Baker to 95 overall. Just to smooth that out. And then we could look at both Jackson and Deshaun Watson. Lamar running for 300 yards. Can you imagine if he only ran for 300 yards? Five-time Pro Bowler, 2-time leader in passer rating. Yeah, Lamar's gonna go up. He's about to be in a contract year too. All right. I gotta edit Mayfield's contract quick. I think that it might be set up where every team has a 78 overall quarterback or greater right now. I'm not sure exactly if that's true for every team. I can take a quick look though. right after I edit Watson, because then I think I'll be done here at quarterback. All right, numbers have been a bit weaker recently, so I'll probably leave Watson here at 90 and let it be like this. Let's see. 82, 80, 78 for Jameis, 77 for Prescott, 78 for Blaylock. I just want to see where he ended up this year. 22 and 13. $77 for Trubisky here. So a couple are lower. I edited Leighton yesterday. Should I edit Leighton maybe a tiny bit more? He did just have an MVP season. Maybe a little more here. Up that throw on the run, throw under pressure, and maybe a point in the deep accuracy. We'll go 92 with them. And then I think I'm done at quarterback. So that's set up much better. At running back now, obviously a ton of veterans here. And then you get to Jayshon Warfield at 89. And I think we went through his stats and I liked where they were. He's had a couple 1,000-yard campaigns, a lot of touchdowns. Does catch the football well. And he's only 27, so he's still going to get a little bit better. I think it was mostly Charquez Towns was somebody I definitely wanted to edit. 85 right now. He's had 2,000-yard campaigns. Catches the football. I mean, he's got similar production to Warfield, but less touchdowns. But I still plan on boosting him at least to like 87, 88. No awards. So what is he rated right now? He is 12th best. That does seem about right, but I'm still going to boost him up a little bit because he's about to regress. I think he should be a little bit higher. All right, Jason Slaughter, probably don't need to edit him. He has X Factor, and now half of his career has been in this boosted era of XP for the series. T-Shawn Clifford, 3 years in. Do we think his rookie year missed something here? He hasn't gotten as much playing time, and it hasn't been super efficient, so I don't think I'll be editing him. Brothers was just a rookie. That doesn't matter. David Covington. Keep him where he's at. Marty Belafonte. Very good receiving back. Wish it didn't reset this every time. Yeah, what Zeke does in this game is pretty incredible. It's a little much. Just giving Marty here a small boost. So how many running backs are in the 80 overall tier? About enough for every team. '80 overall, Robert Carroll. Yeah, very few of these low-rated running backs actually end up separating themselves, unfortunately. Running back could use a talent infusion here in our league. How about Terrence Rivers? Yeah. Oh, Benny Huggins. He has 2 near 1,000-yard seasons. I'm down to boost Huggins a little bit. Before he's a free agent again. There's a ton of Kalispell players in this league. That was part of the whole idea of the series. Incorporate them like I haven't been able to before. How about Marion Peppers? I think 79's a little low. He's not on our team anymore. I'm gonna put him all the way up at 85 and boost his contract. That's already super low. Why? Is his signing bonus 0 because he's been traded and we've already basically paid it? Is that why it's like that? I'm still doing the Kalispell stuff for the draft classes, and there will be another episode, another mega episode, or a mega episode. Here's some efficiency numbers, actually, in his rookie year, especially for Matthias Carter. I wouldn't mind giving him a small upgrade. I have gone way too far. That's a rookie deal. I'm not going to mess with that. Probably not. I don't think I'll do like more traditional seasons with Kalispell. I don't see me doing that after the docu-series stuff. All right, so at wide receiver, we've already edited Rafa Augustine. We've already edited Trill Diamond. Dallas Levine was next. Never had a 1,000-yard year. 10 touchdowns is his career high. $88. That kind of seems right. Cornelius Davis here at 86. 16th ranked receiver. Never over 873. And part of that, you know, like if they higher ratings, they'd probably reach these thresholds. So I'm trying to find kind of exceptions. How about Ben Ayers? I'm a big Brandon Ayuk fan, so I think he has very high potential. And I like the combo of him and Debo a lot. They're both very good after the catch. I think they need Ayuk to do a lot more as a downfield receiver. But from what I saw at Arizona State, I think he can do all that. I think he's really versatile. I'm not going to edit Deion Price or any of our players. They don't need it. Didn't Mike Holmes have some big seasons? In the 6s. Let's go to tight end here. I just want to edit Hayden Jean-Charles. Coming off 911 yards. He'd be a 94 right now. It's whatever the highest archetype is in the right. Let's go all the way to 96. Austin Bordelone. Yeah, we can boost him as well. His route running is off the charts. Wow. I'll do a lot of this on my own as well, but it has been useful for me to get to talk with everybody and just get your thoughts on how I should handle this. Like, I think for the offensive linemen, like some of the best players here who haven't allowed a lot of sacks over the years, I think are the ones that should get the best boosts. I gave one to Gabe Davis earlier. He's allowed double digits 3 out of 4 years. But then you go down to Jaquan Tate, and in his 5 years, he's only allowed it once. So I think that, you know, I don't have much data, but just using that, I think I would make him maybe the best left tackle, or at least higher than Davis. And I should look at offensive line developments as well. See what I can do there. Maybe go back to the old episodes and look for who won awards and adjust accordingly. Kind of want to get him even higher rated than this. I want to get to that 94. There we go. All right, Jeffrey Parrish. What has he done? Star Dev. He's all over the map here. Come on. He logged 23. Just 7, 23, 6, 7. Like, what happened in year 2? Like, what's the story here? You play with Tor ACL? Very, very inconsistent player. But a 2-time Pro Bowler. I'll get him up to maybe about 89. That's just the wackiest stats. I love it. All right, Michael Alexander, Star Dev, solid. One-time Pro Bowler. We'll boost him just a little bit here. What player do you dread playing against the most? In this game, probably Tyreek Hill. Because even when I play what I think is pretty safe coverage, like, his speed is just the best it can really be. So sometimes, you know, if Mahomes has too much time, then it doesn't matter. Getting beat. All right, Chase Mosley here. We got normal dev for an older player, 28. And in his career, been playing pretty well recently. But it's actually also worth it to upgrade some of these players' developments who are older, because that'll impact their rate of regression. So I'll bump him up to star and then make him like 86. So how many 80 overall tackles are in the league? Greg Little is 78, so they're like 21. It's okay if offensive line isn't like strong, but I do want there to be some standouts. There are some superstars here. Blackjack, he knows what to do as far as developments go. Maybe take some players down in dev traits like Sheffield. That's interesting. I am looking at dev traits for more than just offensive line. That's just where the problems are the most. Do you think that I should knock down Sheffield's dev? just based on how I've played with him. The numbers certainly aren't great or anything. Are you saying star or superstar, though? A lot of different opinions on this. I do think dropping it makes sense. Just because I haven't played that well with him, it would make the challenge greater and to make things more realistic. We can drop it 1 to superstar. I think that makes sense. Do you think that I should go... A lot of people think star. I'm down with star dev. There. It's going to be star dev. I do think that maybe considering some reduction for veterans is interesting because it would allow them to regress faster and then eventually be replaced. That's a possibility. Because so many of these guys are just X Factors. They'll play as long as they don't retire, really. So let's go Saquon Barkley. Is he still playing like an X Factor, you think? Yeah. Yeah. Is CMC still playing like an X Factor? Not as great as Barkley's. Do we think McCaffrey goes to superstar? And that's only to make his regression just a little bit faster. Because the game doesn't drop devs. Alright, we'll go superstar on CMC. We already know Zeke's numbers. He's just going to have to be, you know, he's just going to continue being better than Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. So, he's going to be the outlier. That is true. His contract man would end up being a little bit lower, I think, but I'll take that trade-off. I think I'll make Chubb a superstar as well. Is Todd Gurley still playing like an X Factor? It's pretty good. I think we keep Gurley. How about Kamara? I know he was hurt for much of this year, so the volume won't be there. Still pretty solid. Do we think superstar or X Factor for Kamara? What do we think? Superstar or X Factor? I'm just going with the chat consensus pretty much on some of these where I'm not sure. Superstar. All right. I don't think I'm like drastically manipulating the league. I just think I'm nudging it in the right direction overall, so that it's as interesting as possible for as long as possible. And certainly the XP sliders just continuing to be high are going to be really nice. I think you're going to see a lot of things change as a result. The domino effect is going to be pretty substantial because you gain the most from your rookie year and then your second season as well. And even just getting a couple more points to squeeze out, and maybe a 75 overall running back becomes a 78, and now he's higher than another guy in the depth chart, so he plays a little bit more and he gets even more upgrades on top of that. Like, there's just so many little things here that can add up over time and start to give us the league that I think we should have. Because we should not be looking at position groups and it's like, oh, the best 7 players are all over 30. Best running back of the series here that was drafted was Ja'Shawn Warfield. And based on his accomplishments, I don't think that he should be higher rated. But you'd like, if in year 2 this could have given him maybe a little bit more. And then year 3 he goes over 1,000 again. And then that contract he ends up signing is a little bit greater. Can't fix it all though. We're not trying to fix it all. Quentin Nelson's only a 91. Lance Swenson. Very few standouts here at left guard. This almost feels like everybody should be up a couple. Interior lines in rough shape. Tackle, left tackle is pretty good now. Right tackle's still rough. And I'm willing to edit, guys like Orlando Brown as well, players who are already here back at the start. And how about he should be mid-90s, shouldn't he, with this? 5-time Pro Bowler. I mean, come on. We're boosting Orlando Brown. And probably Quentin Nelson, yes. By the way, isn't that whole thing with Orlando Brown? I'm not sure if there was ever like a follow-up to this, but him demanding to be traded and only playing left tackle, that is way out of left field as far as the demand goes. I have never seen anything quite like that. What do you think of that, everybody? The way I've looked at it for the last decade or so is that there's generally no difference between left or right tackle because you have so many great edge rushers on both sides. It doesn't really matter. I mean, right tackles are matching up against Von Miller, Danielle Hunter, and a lot of the best edge rushers out there, so they ain't getting a break. They ain't playing number 2s all day long. So that to me was very surprising. Wanting to be paid like a top tackle absolutely makes sense. But like demanding he play left tackle, I've never seen anything like that. Would he like to play left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings? All right, we just boosted his ratings here major. contract. Should I edit him to left tackle? Imagine, we just move him to left tackle, make him happy. If he would be the best tackle on their team, I'm going to move him to left tackle, just for that. I mean, he is going to be the best tackle on their team. Oh, that's right, they still have Ronnie Stanley in here. Oh, man. Oh yes, it is protecting the blind side, but in general, I don't think that, you know, there used to be like guys coming to the NFL and they're like, yeah, he's right tackle only, or a lot of stuff like that. And usually it was like, oh, the right tackle is the big guy that does run blocking. It ain't that simple now. Oh, is his dev? Yeah, because we also want to make sure that he's not regressing at an incredible rate either. So that's part of why the entire league at offensive line is so low. Because even the good guys at the beginning, I mean, they didn't have all the help. We'll go superstar. Yeah, changing sides would be, you know, it'd change your hand. It just mirror everything. You know, your footwork's different, your hand placement's different. So it's not like easy to play, like if you can play right tackle, can you easily play left? You know, probably with practice and time, I'm pretty sure most can make that transition. But as far as like the value goes, I have the like dead even. I don't really prioritize left tackle because it's the blind side. Like, you know, what if you your first read's to your left? Now I can't see by my right. I mean, your blind side changes based on the play, not just if you're left or right-handed. I can understand in general though, like, you know, like you said, if you're left-handed, maybe you want that right tackle to be as stout as possible, because maybe there are more plays where that will be your blind side. Not every time, but yeah, I still look at them as even. You gotta have two, or there's gonna be an edge rusher, you know, elite rushers on both sides. Khalil Mack's on that side. Won't matter if it's your blind side. Would you rather have Khalil Mack destroy you from your blind side, or would you rather see him coming? I mean, either way, you're going to be on the ground. Yep, Braden Smith, just a step below. And probably boost the dev. This is going to be very nice for the league. I don't think I would have come to all of these conclusions if I didn't have you guys bouncing ideas and thoughts for me. So I appreciate that. I've known for a very long time that it's just like a fun environment in chat. It's a different environment when I can bounce ideas and everything and kind of do everything on the fly and not just rely on only what I can come up with. I want to get them to like 93. It's hard to get these overalls to budge. That's why I had Orlando Brown at 95. It was without maxing out everything. I don't know how you do it. Because if I even boost his like finesse here to 99, it's not affecting his power. And what happens is it's looking at the highest archetype. So I could drop this down to 0 and he'd still be a 92 overall. So that's kind of flawed. All right, 93. That will do. Texans tonight, you know it. Texans tonight. Against the Atlanta Falcons. spoiler alert, a little preview. I make a trade. I'm trying not to do a lot of strength upgrades or anything, but I guess on offensive line I probably have to make that exception in some cases. After all these buffs, maybe Boogie is a down season next year. I mean, just based on the fact that that season doesn't happen very often, I'd expect some regression. I don't think this will be a huge deal, though. I'm mostly just editing the top players at these positions so that the league has more star power. Best Madden content creator hands down. Thank you. Been watching since the Vikings franchise way back. Appreciate that, Harley. I am going to be getting off here soon, though. I gotta go make some steak and eat some dinner. I'm getting pretty hungry. I forgot to upgrade his ratings completely. You do a good job in Madden. You know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Thank you, Malachi. Do my best. $91 for McGlinchey. How's getting snow in Texas? It wasn't great at all. That's the third time I've seen snow in Texas. I'm trying to finally go a year straight in my life without snow. It hasn't happened yet. Last year we got a dusting. If I had slept in, I wouldn't have seen it. But I saw it, you know, on some rooftops, on the roof of some cars. So I saw that snow. And then it snowed in January a few inches. And that was more like, you know, the snow we got in January in Texas was like that, the kind of snow they put in like movies, you know? It's like not freezing cold out. It's snow that you can make a snowman with and then it's gone. It was that kind of cliche snow. This last one, for those of you that have never been, for about 5 to 6 days, you got the Minnesota experience. What happened to eating dinner at 4:30? I wanted to stream. Sometimes I have to alter the schedule. Cooking ASMR. You want to hear that steak sizzle in the cast iron pan? About to make a venison steak. That's pretty interesting. I'm not very familiar with venison. I don't really care for it. I've had it a couple times. So yeah, we got a lot more upgrading here to do. That won't be a problem. Brandon Smith, normal. Yeah, he's gonna get a boost. I know I skipped somebody above him too. He just stood out. Which is better, Mexican food or Chinese food? If I had to pick, I mean, I'd go Mexican food all day. But I was a very picky eater for a long time. But like in the last 10 years or so, I've come to really enjoy both. Although I don't think I've ever had authentic Chinese food. But I just like more Mexican food because I can have like tacos, I can have you know, tamales or enchiladas or whatever. But when it comes to Chinese food, I'm more like, you know, I want like sesame chicken or orange chicken. I don't really get into a bunch of different stuff there. What's the best spot for Texas barbecue? There are a lot of good spots. I haven't been able to explore them all. There's this whole, you ever hear of the pandemic in 2020? So a lot of my hopes for exploring and whatnot didn't happen. That's all right. Get around to it one day. Best place I've had barbecue at in Texas is Salt Lick. In Round Rock, next to where the Round Rock Express play. That's the best one I've been to. Unbelievable. How much better was Mexican food once you got to Texas versus Minnesota? It's very drastic difference, especially in just like the sheer amount of places. The other thing that's super common down here that isn't up north is like chicken tender places. So many places that you can go if you just want like a chicken tender meal with all the sides. And that really wasn't a thing. I do like the food down here though a ton. I definitely feel like for a long time I felt like I was eating better than I was. There's some really good food in the Midwest, but the Midwest is also so chain oriented. And if you're not specifically hunting down the good spots, like you don't just stumble upon them as easily, I feel. Fried chicken, barbecue, and Mexican food. That sounds like the best day of my life right there. It's so many chicken places though that I just don't know how they all like keep going, because you go, they got the tiniest menus out of any place you'll ever go to, and it's just like chicken tenders, like a very easy thing to make. And I don't think from place to place that they vary a ton. Like, you know, there's a big difference between the burgers when you go to places, you know, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Culver's, whatever. But the chicken tenders, I don't feel have as much of a difference. So I'm like, how do 14 places survive here? And the first meal I had when I moved to Texas, it was late, just had to scramble to get something quick. And I had, that's when I had Cane's for the first time. I think it was the first time. The Cane's sauce is like, if you were to do the tier list, you know, remember those are popular of like specialty sauces at places? The Cane's sauce is like S tier to the max. It's so good. Cane's or Zaxby's? Definitely Cane's. I've had Zaxby's a couple times, and I think it's good, but I just don't think that it touches Cane's. Best ribs I ever had? I can't think of any specific place, but ribs for me are very hit or miss. Like, I'll go to a place twice for ribs, and one will be phenomenal and one will be like super average. I don't know, that's one of those things where it's like, depending on the quality of the meat they're getting, sometimes you get like just a bunch of fat, and sometimes you actually get like really meaty ribs and they're awesome. I have never found a place that I feel like is like my number one yet. I've had a lot of ribs. I've also had a lot of average ribs. This was a fun stream though. And I think between now and the weekend I'll be doing more streams just because I don't have anything else to do on this channel right now. Besides work on the Kalispell docu-series, and it will be. But as far as getting content up, streams are the easiest. I may even do a little bit of streaming where I record stuff for the second channel. That could be a lot of fun. I missed doing that last year. Alright, so that is going to end today's stream, everybody. It was a lot of fun talking with you and getting a lot more accomplished today. So, I still have a lot more I need to do here. I don't know if I'll do it all live. I'll definitely do some not live. I'll be streaming something soon. Maybe more of this, but maybe some real content that I'll end up putting on the second channel. So, that is going to do it for today, everybody. I appreciate you for spending some time with me, giving me some useful feedback, and I'm glad that so many of you are still excited for the rest of this Broncos franchise. So have a good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another. Please leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you want to see more like it. And I'll catch you all in the next one. See you later.